Hold on. Shout out. I'm going to let it play through. Before we continue, we're going to watch the weigh-in. We got to talk about this scripted but good, this scripted but good content from the Tyson Fury Pianeta weigh-in. And a lot of people don't understand that it's actually Carl Frampton versus Luke Jackson. That's the weigh-in, and it's taking place in Ireland. But whatever. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. It's no secret that Deontay Wilder was there. It's no secret that Deontay Wilder was going to show up. It's no secret that Wilder versus Fury has been done for quite some time. Yeah, people say, well, they said this and they said that. Come on, man. The fight is happening. If you don't know now, well, if you didn't know, wait, how does the saying go? If you didn't know then, now you know. So we're going to talk about it. And shout out to this bloke right here. Tyson Fury just caught up. I guess this is the blunt of the force right here. I guess he's feeling the pressure of Tyson Fury propping himself up on whatever. But shout out to that bloke. It's all in good fun. This is like this is the first beginning of the press tour. I'm expecting them to do a press conference in New York. I'm expecting them to maybe do one in LA. I'm pretty sure they're going to do one in New York, because you got to have the Bella mixed in some type of way, right? But we're going to talk about it all. But let's go look at some more clips. For example, the weigh-in. I mean, look at this right here. This is from earlier. He weighed in at what did they say? 258. So he's about 18. Yeah, 258. 18 pounds lighter than his last fight. 10 pounds, 9 pounds away from where he was when he fought fought Vladimir Klitschko. It's crazy. Well, 11 pounds, excuse me. But that right there is a story in itself on how much weight he's lost. I mean, the number they've been saying is 27 stone, 28 stone. 28 stone is what, like 392 or something. Nonetheless, that's still like losing 100 pounds is a story. He can fucking do a fucking motherfucking Weight Watchers. You know how they have like the before and after and shit? They should call him up and have him doing, that before and after shit. What was he eating? What has he been doing to lose all that weight? It's crazy. I mean, he was fat as shit. But he's back now, so you got to imagine that by the time he fights Wilder in December or so, he would be, around the same weight he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Maybe 245. Maybe he could shed another 13 pounds. And what was the lightest he's been in his career? I believe it was 243, right? We got 245 and a half. 245 and a half, according to BoxRec. So that right there would be a storyline that he comes in at the lightest of his career. The lineal heavyweight champion of the world. A lot of people don't understand what being lineal means. It means you beat the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. In the case of Tyson Fury, he dethroned Klitschko of his, 10-year reign. What was it? It was 10 years or 9 years. Let's go check. I forgot. Yeah, 10-plus year reign. So looking at looking at like what he's accomplished, he has the right to say, yeah, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to go straight for the top dog. A lot of people didn't expect for him to be fighting for a championship until at least 2019, late 2019 and maybe 2020. He talked about in the IFL interview how there was talks of him signing with Matchroom, and it was going to be about a 3-fight deal. He talked about how him and Tony Bellew, how they had like some secret conversation. No, they had like a secret meeting or some shit. So which makes, you know, you think, okay, well, that whole shit they was talking in the media about all that shit, they've been, you know, like like boxing is WWE to a big extent. But what I don't like is when the shit, you know, like comes out to be like really fake after, you know, a boxer says, well, yeah, we had a meeting and all that shit. And, you know, like, for example, this situation with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, you can't tell me that somewhere over the next, by the time Deontay Wilder is there, they're going to have some type of secret meeting with each other. And they're going to be talking about what they're going to do at the press conference and shit. Remember, Mayweather and Pacquiao did it's been known. I don't know if Canelo and Golovkin ever had a secret meeting, but in this case right here, I'm sure, for example, Deontay Wilder has talked openly, and it has not been denied that him and Anthony Joshua have spoken on the phone and talked about how Anthony Joshua could not have accepted that $50 million plus for the one fight, and then obviously $30 million for the rematch. I mean, of course there would have been a rematch, so you can imagine that the numbers would have been around that. But in regard to that, I'm done with Joshua versus Wilder right now. There's nothing to talk about with that because we're getting Fury versus Pianeta. Hopefully Fury gets the win, because what if Pianeta's like, yo, man, fuck that shit. You know, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And what if Pianeta's coming, you know, to die in there because nobody's talking about him? And then, you know, what if something happens in there? What if Fury gets hurt? God forbid. And some David Hayes shit happens. Then we get Wilder versus Pianeta. What you know, what's worse, the pain or the hangover? Wilder versus Pianeta or Wilder versus Brazil? You know? So he's got to do that first. Here's a go look at the weigh-in before we move on. Well, that's not the full weigh-in. This is the face-off. Don't shake his hand. You got to do a demolition job on him, Tyson. Look, and you want to take a selfie? I'm disgusted. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. You know, I like the showmanship and all that, but in a way, I don't like this shit. Son of a bitch. So the way I look at it, you know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was good for the people. It was good for Ireland, you know, but that's Tyson Fury, Pop, Big John. Look at Shelly. Look at Shelly having a good old time. Shelly having a good old time. Oh, shit's about to go down. Big John was about to get the windmill attack. You know, Wilder got 2 attacks. He got that shit he did to he got the windmill, you know, that he did to Jared Washington, and then he got that juke type knockout thing he did with Bermain Stavern, when he did when he brought the crossover KO, when he did that shit and then, you know, swung up in there. But In my next video, obviously, we got to talk about Carl Frampton versus Luke Jackson. It's a shame, man. That's the main event right there. Let me see if I missed anything else.
On Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder. Ireland, I'm here, baby. Your champ, the myth, the legend, the knockout artist, the king. I'm here, baby. Just left the Fury weigh-ins, and oh my God, was it crazy? Oh man,
he lost his voice.
It's gonna be a hell of a fight. I done lost my voice and everything, like the intensity, oh man, I can't even talk right now.
And they got to do commentary tomorrow night. By the way, before we let this continue and talk, and we got to talk about the heavyweight division, the fight's going to be the card's going to be starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and like what is that, like 12:30 over on the West Coast in LA and all that, on the Facebook Showtime, on the Showtime Facebook and YouTube page. Only in the States and probably Canada. Obviously, over in the UK, you got to watch on BT Sport. But I'm going to be covering the card, and then I got to jet out to the Top Rank on ESPN card out in Atlantic City. It's going to be a very, very busy day. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it all. In fact, I might not even be able to make the fight tomorrow night because I wasn't originally planning on going. Then when I went to interview Brian Jennings and everything yesterday at the press conference, by the way, right now it's 10:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, August the 17th. 2018. When I went to the press conference, they was like, "You want to come to the fight?" And I was like, "I wasn't planning on it." I was like, "Okay, well, you can come." So we got some maneuvering to do because all of this has to be covered, you know. And all of it has to be covered live. So I'm trying to find a reasonable price in the hotel for the fight, you know, to cover the fight, so I can be able to take my laptop and be able to stay in the room. Oh, whatever. We're going to be here tomorrow covering the fight, man. Let's go talk about the heavyweight division. So, you got Deontay Wilder. You know, first, Tyson Fury must defeat Francesco Pianeta. And he should look good. He should look good doing it because he's got to sell himself to the United States and he's got to sell himself to pay-per-view. All right? You got Dylan White, who in another video we got to talk about maybe the WBO mandatory for Anthony Joshua. It's a whole nother video that I'm going to do after I do the the Carl Frampton Luke Jackson video. You have Joshua obviously taking on Alexander Povetkin on September the 22nd. It's going to be here in the States on The Zone. Over in the UK, it's going to be on Sky Sports Box Office September the 22nd. You have Manuel Charr. They're still working out the final details for Manuel Charr versus Francesco Pianeta for that WBA World Title. The winner has to fight Trevor Bryan, but Gerald Miller and Dylan White want Manuel Charr, or the winner of Manuel Charr, Francesco Pianeta. And that's what will be happening on September the 29th, meaning Charr versus Oquendo. You have Kubrat Pulev taking on Hughie Fury October the 22nd on Channel 5 over in the UK, from my understanding. Likely ESPN Plus will pick it up here in the States. And that's going to be for the IBF Eliminator. The winner will be the IBF Mandatory. You have Dominic Breazeale trying to get his WBC shot. You have Brian Jennings fighting Alexander Dmytrenko on ESPN tomorrow. Joe Big Baby Miller is fighting Tomas Adamek on October the 6th on The Zone and over in Sky Sports over in the UK. And who else are we missing? We're trying to figure out what Derek Chisora is going to do. I got a chance to talk to Brian Jennings once again yesterday, and him and Derek Chisora are good friends, so we got a chance to talk about that sparring footage that came out and how it helped him beat Carlos Takam. Charles Martin is fighting Adam Kownacki on the undercard of Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter. Who else? And those are the movers and shakers in the heavyweights right there. But on TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live. Obviously, I'm picking Tyson Fury in the fight with Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. You know, Deontay Wilder said himself that, you know, his power is fight changing. He can knock you the fuck out at any time. You know, so Fury's got to work on his defense, and he's got to stay out of the range of that right hand. You see what I'm saying? Because that right hand is not a myth, man. That shit will fuck you up. You know, we've seen it. We've seen Wilder in trouble and that shit bail him. That's not even a bailout. He knows that the windmill attack is unrivaled right now in boxing. Even Anthony Joshua, I still feel him and Joshua is, I feel every fight Wilder is in is a 50-50 fight. You know why? It's because that power, it only takes one. It only takes one. But however, I feel Tyson Fury has more tools, especially overall boxing ability. You know, he can go to the body. He can fight right-handed, left-handed. For 6'9", he's got that movement. Deontay Wilder, yeah, he's got the jab. It can be a little slow sometimes, but in regards to Tyson Fury's jab, if that shit get lazy, that right hand's gonna knock him the fuck out. So we're gonna be here tomorrow night. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.